Good morning, everyone. Here's an update on what's going on in Ukraine for August 21st. Russian authorities said Sunday that they have opened up a murder investigation after Daria Dugina, which is the daughter of influential ultranationalist philosopher Alexander Dugin, was killed by a car bomb on the outskirts of Moscow. Now, the Russians are investigating this as a pre-planned crime. I agree. She was driving in her father's Land Cruiser, which is made by Toyota and not Lada, so they're not prone to just blow up on their own. But more than likely, it was kind of a pre-planned attack to likely kill Alexander himself because it was his vehicle, but she just happened to be driving it. Now, if you guys don't remember, Alexander Dugin is a Russian author and ideologue. He's credited with being the architect to the reason behind Russia has invaded Ukraine. He has significant influence over the Kremlin and over President Vladimir Putin. He's sometimes been described as Putin's brain by places like Foreign Affairs magazine. I personally think that might be an overstatement of Dugin's influence over Putin, but he does have quite a bit of influence within the Kremlin. Now, such actions, killing his daughter, could go one of two ways. Now, it could further radicalize and strengthen the core group of fascist political circles around Putin and in Moscow, who tend to actually see Putin as potentially too soft in Ukraine and would like to have a larger mobilization and a full-blown war to overtake Ukraine. The other side of it is potentially it could serve as a warning to these oligarchs that they are not untouchable in Russia, and they could be targets as well. However, I suspect the first one would be more likely. Now, don't feel bad about his daughter. She was a Russian political commentator and a chief editor of disinformation websites like United World International. She has publicly spoken about her support for Russia's efforts in Ukraine and what it's doing. Some examples include she believes that Ukraine should just perish from the face of the earth, and has said that the United States and NATO are trying to destroy Russia by using Ukraine, etc., to the point that the US and Great Britain have sanctioned her personally. To their credit, Ukraine has said, "We did not do that. We certainly had nothing to do with the blast," and suggested it could be a result of internal dispute, which could be possible because she did have enemies within Russia. Her viewpoints and her rhetoric were very fiery, and she had often upset not only people who are anti-Putin, but also she ran counter to some of the mafia and other Russian organized crime syndicates in that city in Moscow. So who knows who actually did it? No one's going to admit to it, but that's kind of what happened in that respect. Another area of focus on what's going on in Ukraine is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Now, currently, Russia and Ukraine are trading accusations of who will potentially attack the site, causing an ecological disaster. As experts are saying that a direct attack is unlikely, as first of all, the reactor units are designed to withstand a direct attack because they are a product of Cold War construction to try and prevent things like a nuclear blast from destroying the plant. And two, both Russia and Ukraine see the usefulness of the plant in the future. Russia potentially could integrate the plant into their power grid so they could stabilize regions like Crimea and other Russian territory near and in Ukraine. Now, Russia is currently occupying the plant, but Ukraine is running it, so I don't know if that integration is going to take place, how that would work with the transfer of operations, but it's something they're looking into. Now, there are concerns that could come from an accident or a Russian false flag accident, but as I said, that may be unlikely unless Russia is retreating and are saying if we can't have it, no one can, or even human error caused by the war. The focus would be on the power systems for cooling the rods in the reactors. If off for more than a day, the rods could boil off the cooling water, thus exposing them and causing a meltdown. This is similar to what happened in Fukushima when the tsunami destroyed the cooling power systems, leading to a meltdown. Now, there are backup generators that are ran by diesel, but there are concerns that Russia's pauper army of thieves have stolen the fuel for their own use, so they may not kick on. Going forward, Russia lacks volunteers to set up new units to fight in Ukraine. Former U.S. Army Europe Commander retired General Ben Hodges now believes Ukraine has the capability to drive Russia out of their country in the near future. This comes as the U.S. on Friday announced it will spend another $775 million on weapons for Ukraine, including new drones, armored vehicles, artillery, and other new equipment such as TOW anti-tank missiles, 16 or 105 millimeter howitzers, 36,000 rounds, 2,000 rounds for Carl Gustaf recoilless rifles, which are small anti-armor weapons used by special forces. And for the first time, the U.S. is sending 15 Scan Eagle surveillance drones. These are very precision drones for artillery fires and targeting. What makes them great is they can be launched from a small slingshot that is maneuverable. It's very maneuverable. So very much going to help them out. These small drones can be moved around the battlefield very easily, so they can provide targeting for Ukraine. Now, the other things that they're going to get are 40 Max Pro mine-resistant vehicles. I use these in Iraq. They're very, very good, and they're very good at resisting mines and the explosive force from running over mines and such, protecting those inside. Now, this comes as the U.S. is planning to also give precision-guided Excalibur munitions. Now, the range of these Excalibur rounds, which go in the 155 millimeter artillery pieces that we've given them, have a range of 43 miles, which is double the 18-mile range of current 155 millimeter rounds. These are also precision-guided munitions with glide fins, meaning they can be accurate within 4 meters. And considering there's a kill radius of 50 meters, it's safe to say that these will be quite devastating to Russia and will aid in Ukraine's potential upcoming counteroffensive. Additionally, the U.S. is also training Ukrainian pilots to fly the A-10, which is a very capable destructive ground attack aircraft. If the Ukrainians can integrate the aircraft with its fighter aircraft, as well as U.S.-provided HARM anti-radar and anti-SAM missiles, Ukraine will have yet another leg up in their fight. Moving on, if you want to know how far Russia is behind the U.S., the Russians have been damaged heavily by just 20 HIMARS operating without the longest range munitions. The U.S. has approximately 540 HIMARS. Also, we're giving them HARM missiles. These are the ones developed in 1983. The more advanced HARM ER missiles, which may be fielded next year, have a standoff distance that outranges the S-400 and S-500. So basically, it makes those two anti-aircraft missile systems large paperweights in a fight against the U.S. So any idea that Russia could attack the U.S. is ridiculous, or NATO. And the only thing protecting Russia from absolutely being eye-hole fucked by the U.S. and its allies is Russia's nuclear weapons. Now, additionally, if you were completely unsure of U.S. dominance, the U.S. is now fielding a high-energy laser with an integrated optical dazzler and surveillance system called Helios. It's a 60 to 150 kilowatt class laser. Interestingly, this weapon has a capability of intercepting missiles, aircraft, boats, etc., heading for the battle groups. The official range is classified, but Lockheed claims it's at least 5 miles. There are two modes: the dazzle mode, which blinds and overwhelms sensors, and the other mode is burning holes through it. It'll integrate with the Aegis system so that it'll become a very strong anti-ship, anti-missile defense system going forward. Russia has nothing like that. If you want to see a hilarious video, go check out my video highlighting the latest Russian military tech. Russia has accused Ukraine of poisoning soldiers. First off, I say if that's true, so fucking what? Again, you aren't special, Russia. When you send soldiers to invade another country, they are going to die. Who cares how they die? But in reality, it seems like they were poisoned by yet another victim of Russia's stupidity, as it was probably caused by botulism toxin in expired canned meats given to them by Russia. So gross, don't eat Russian meats. And then finally, I would like to congratulate Vladimir Putin because tanks have finally reached Kyiv and the people have cheered their arrival, as the Ukrainian government has staged the captured and damaged Russian tanks in the city's main square for people to look at during Ukraine's Independence Day festivities on the 24th of August. So again, congratulations are in order to Vladimir Putin for finally getting Russian tanks into Kyiv and having the people cheer their arrival. I don't necessarily think that's how you saw it going, but nonetheless, here we are. That's it. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.